Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, March 19th, 2021, is now called to order. And I want to ask Esquire Doug Gorman to offer prayer and lead us in the pledge immediately following. Esquire Gorman.
Thank you, Judge. If you please bow with me. Father, we come to you today with thankful hearts, thankful in this season of Lent, Lord, because we know that Easter is coming, and it is one of the greatest days the world has ever known, the day that you overcame the grave, the day that you rose from the dead, Lord, the thing that we know is important because it washed away all of our sin. Lord, I ask for your grace and mercy over this court as the decisions we make today, over all of our department heads, all the employees of Warren County, that we would continue to do things that would make a difference and a positive difference in the lives of all of our fellow citizens, Lord. I'm reminded today of something I read early this morning from Ephesians. It's Ephesians 4:31. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. And Lord, let that be our anthem today and every day. I ask for all these things in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And now if you please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Esquire Gorman. Okay. As clerk, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Would you please call the roll?
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am. Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Here.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
Esquire Payne. Esquire Young.
Here, Tony's muted.
I'm muted.
All right. Thank you. Need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of March 5th, 2021.
Motion to approve, Esquire Lawrence.
Motion by Esquire Lawrence,
Second, Cummings.
second by Cummings. No additions or corrections. Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Now we need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department.
McWhorter makes a motion for that.
Motion
Second by Young.
motion by Esquire McWhorter, second by Esquire Young. Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As a courtesy to our friends from the Department of Transportation, I think that Joe Plunk, Tim Sharp, and Stuart Payton are on here. I'm not sure who wants to make the presentation, but I believe they are going to present the Rural Secondary Road Program. Who's on
Yes,
here?
sir.
All righty.
Morning, Judge. This is Stuart. Both Tim, our branch manager, and Joe Plunk, our chief district engineer, are here on the Zoom meeting as well.
Okay.
Thank you for having us this morning. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Stuart. I'm an engineering supervisor in the Bowling Green section for the Department of Highways. And as the judge said, I'm here today to present the 2021-2022 Rural Secondary Road Program. I am going to attempt to share my screen this morning. Hand out that I know the magistrates, and hope you guys got that. And if you don't mind, just please follow along. Hopefully this will be legible to you guys. And this is a reflection of this year's upcoming rural road program. All right, as you can see from the very top there, this year's allotment is $2,485,718. Last year's free balance carryover, and that's simply the unused money from last year that we don't lose, that's been added to our allotment for this year for a total of $2.786 million. And of that distribution, the county gets the flex fund, which is 50%. As you can see there, that's $372,858. You guys did not have any leftover balance from last year, so that will be your allotment for this fiscal year. So the breakdown from that total allotment is shown here, and I will run through that. Some of you guys have the map that reflects these, but I'll try to be clear on where these sections of roadway are. So the total allotment again is the 2.7 million. The item number one is the routine maintenance and traffic of the 155 miles here in Warren County, and at a cost of $4,022 per mile. So that will be a total of $894,900. Item number two is the county judge expenses. That's $2,584. As I described earlier, the flex funds, which is 15% of that initial distribution, is that $372,858 for the Warren County roadways. And then item number four is to resurface 5.732 miles of Highway 240. And this is the Petros end, beginning at the intersection with Russellville Road, US 68. And that will be extending all the way to 31W through Woodburn and to the intersection with 884. There was a typo here. We had some last minute changes, but that's supposed to say Kentucky 884. That project will have some drainage repairs, base failure repairs, and then after the completion of the resurfacing, we're going to add a new rock shoulder and put all new pavement markings down. That project will be a total of $545,500. Item number five is to resurface 3.463 miles of Kentucky 242, and that's the Rich Pond Rockfield section, starting at Russellville Road and extending to 31W there at Rich Pond. This project will receive culvert replacements, base failure repairs, prior to the resurfacing, and then the roadway will get a new penetrated shoulder and permanent pavement markings after resurfacing. And that project's $331,275. Then item number six is simply shoulder repairs. This is to reconstruct the penetrated shoulder on 1320. And this is both the Gherkin Road and the Pins Chapel section. The shoulders will receive a double asphalt seal coat, and that's simply a combination of aggregate and an asphalt emulsion. And we're trying to restructure and rebuild those depressed shoulders on that roadway. This project will also include fresh lane markings after completion of the roadway shoulders for a total of $427,106. And then the final proposed project for this year's program will be to resurface 2.654 miles of Highway 622, that's Plano Road, beginning at the Simpson County line and extending up to the intersection with Highway 242. This project, similar to the others, will have some base failure repairs, milling for edge keys around the bridges, and then they will receive a rock shoulder and permanent pavement markings after completion. This is a total of $212,550, and that will leave us with a remaining balance of zero at the end of this year's program.
Okay.
And if you guys have any questions, I would entertain those.
Any questions from any of the magistrates?
Stuart, this is Ron Cummings. What are y'all planning on doing when you get the over to Nashville Road there, where the expansion's still working on? tying into where y'all resurfaced 242, back to 31W, with a planned construction, widening, and so forth from the state for that project. Just curious how he's tying into it.
I understand. I may have to resort to Joe on the status of that design project along 31W. Ultimately, if that project did come through, it would just affect just that intersection. When we're dealing with failures of the pavement beyond that, even closer to 68 or throughout Woodburn. So I think we would still carry through with this project, but again, I'm not Nine Branch. I don't know where that 31W corridor stands at this moment, Ron, but I do think we will follow through with it. And if anything's affected by that project, it would simply just be the width of that widening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, anyone? I have a motion to accept the presentation, the report.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Young. All righty. Any further discussion, please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't see on my copy here a item for approving the personnel changes, but we do have the personnel changes, so I'd like to get a motion to approve personnel changes for Warren County.
So moved, McWhorter.
Squire Young.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Hale, did I just miss that somewhere, or?
No, I just did not put it on there, Judge.
Okay. All right.
My mind leaves me.
I just wanted to point out kind of nicely that it was your fault.
Thank you so much.
All righty, thank you. Item number 6 is to approve Resolution 2105, a resolution of the County of Warren, Kentucky, authorizing and approving the issuance of Warren County, Kentucky taxable industrial building revenue bonds in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $400 million, the proceeds of which shall be used to finance the acquisition, construction, and equipping of an industrial building as defined in KRS 103-200-1 and leased to Ball Metal Beverage Container Corporation, its affiliates, successors, and/or assigns, authorizing and approving a lease agreement, a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, a bond purchase agreement, assignment, and such other documents, certificates, agreements, and/or actions necessary or required for the issuance of the bonds and the financing of the project. Everybody gets one guess as to the bond attorney that wrote this huge, I hope he's listening to me, so.
No, he sends Meredith to do his dirty work, so.
Yeah.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second, Gorman.
second by Squire Gorman. Okay, and just for the record, all you all already know this, but I want to make sure that everyone understands this $400 million bond is not an obligation of the county, and it is underwritten on the company itself. And so I just want to make sure that that's stated for the record. No other questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Meredith. Thanks for being with us this morning. You have anything else on here?
No, sir, that's all.
All righty. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, item number 7 is to approve a lease agreement between Warren County and the Arts of Southern Kentucky, Inc. Now, this is the new entity of where SkyPack, the SkyPack, what was the foundation? It used to be the SkyPack Foundation, Inc., and the Orchestra Kentucky have formed Arts of Southern Kentucky, and that's who we're leasing the building to. And I think that I think there are a couple of
Just kind of
changes
Yeah.
that Ms. Milliken wanted to share with you.
So I'll direct your attention to page 5, section 4.4. There was a typographical error. It should read with the prior consent of the county, not without the prior consent of the county. That was a typo. On page 7, we're asking that not only would ask name us as an additional insured, but any subleasee as well. And then also on page 7, there is a requirement that the county would rebuild the Capitol. This is regarding the Capitol, and that the county would rebuild the Capitol if it was destroyed. I think we would, but we don't want, you never want to restrict yourself in that you have to build it to a certain specification and all of
Right.
that. So
Right.
those are the changes, and so I would just request that those changes be noted.
Okay. What I'd like to have is a motion to approve the lease agreement between Warren County and the Arts of Southern Kentucky, Inc., with noted changes by the county attorney.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Lawrence.
Motion by Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am. Amy, your audio is still not
It's not,
very good.
okay, they're going to work on it. Tell them they're going to work on it.
Okay, yeah, we have a whole room full of people who's working on the audio and video here, so they're gonna enhance Ms. Milliken's audio. Okay, next item is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2113, rezoning property located at a portion of 2098 Barren River Road from agriculture to heavy from agriculture and heavy industry and floodplain to heavy industrial and floodplain containing approximately 23.89 acres, presently owned by Scotty's Construction and Stone LLC.
So move, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young,
Second, Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, we need to approve interlocal agreement for automatic aid for the technical rescue services.
So move McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second by Cummings.
second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? See Jason's on air. Any questions or discussion in regard to this, Chief Duckett?
Good morning, Judge. Thank y'all for your time. This agreement, we're going to be training with Bowling Green Fire Department. Also, Bowling Green Fire Department will also be responding to all technical rescues in the Warren County to better serve our citizens in Warren County. And if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
I think it's a great deal.
Judge, if I can say something, I
Yes,
just
sir,
want to say something about Chief Duckett. He's worked very hard on this, and it is a great opportunity for the citizens, all of the citizens of Warren County, for us to combine those forces. And I just want to congratulate Chief Duckett and the other people that have been involved with this process. Been working with him for quite a while on getting this going. Also want to thank Chief Colson for his work on behalf of the city fire department.
Yeah, it's been a big group effort, but Chief Colson's desire to enter into this agreement was a major part of getting this done, and he showed some great leadership for the county. Of course, Chief Colson used to be a volunteer firefighter. He was chief of Barron River Fire Department for a long time, and so he understands rural and urban firefighting and rescue needs, and they have some additional equipment that will really help in our efforts, and additional training. So it's a great deal. I'm appreciative of you all putting so much work and effort into it, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 10 is to approve order 2103 surplusing property for the Warren County Sheriff's Department. It's 10,000 rounds of 40 millimeter ammo. It's a lot of ammo. What are we planning to do with this after we surplus it, Sheriff?
Well, the idea is when we transitioned from 40 cal handguns to 9 mil last year, so we're going to take the surplus funding from that and we're going to purchase 9 mil ammo. So it sounds like a lot, but when you actually go to the range and every deputy shoots 100 rounds each, you're talking about probably 2 series of range time with this amount of ammo. So we're just going to transition that funding into 9 millimeter purchasing of ammo.
So we're just going to sell this, trade it in for the other?
We're going to sell it. We're going to sell it, and we've got a couple of other law enforcement agencies who still utilize the 40 cal ammo. And so with some of the shortages right now in ammo, they're expressed some interest in purchasing this directly from us, because there's a wait time right now in ammo of somewhere 8 to 10 months.
Good grief. So you are just going to take competitive quotes and
Yes, sir.
sell it for a bit? Okay.
Mhm.
I usually put that in. Okay. All righty. We have a motion to approve.
Cummings.
Motion with Squire Cummings. Second?
McWhorter.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Any discussion or questions?
Hey, Sheriff, you plan on selling this in one lot? So you plan on receiving bids, selling all 10,000 rounds in one lot, or are you going to break it down in multiple lots?
Well, it depends on some of the people who've reached out to us and how much they want to do. So we'll probably put it out there as one lot, or we may sell it in a certain quantity. And then if you want to buy that quantity, you can duplicate that by that high bid price on it.
Okay. Called the roll already on this
Okay.
order?
I have.
Thank you. Okay, item number 11 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $4,118.67 to Stuart Ritchie Service Group for major water leak at Griffin Park. We have a motion to approve.
So move, Gorman.
Motion by
Second
Squire
by Squire
Gorman,
Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Further discussion or questions? You think somebody's going out there and just punching holes in that out there at Griffin Park, Chris?
Just old lines, Judge, just 40, 50 years old.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 12 is to just simply make part of the record the recommended order from the Warren County lease hearing for the, from the state local debt officer 2102, Intermodal Commerce and Distribution Center. This is the lease with the city on their bonds.
So
So-
moved.
Okay,
Never mind.
motion by Squire McWhorter to put it to record, and second by
Second, Gorman.
Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
That's got to come from the commissioner. This is the first step, and then the commissioner's signature comes next before I.
I wanted to make sure that that wasn't the same.
Right, that is the one, but that one doesn't
That's fine.
end until the 25th or 26th, and then the commissioner has to sign it.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Okay. Item number 13 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $9,638.25 to Boyd Cat Company for repairs to the D6D Cat Dozer for the Warren County Road Department.
Motion, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young to approve.
Second, Gorman.
Squire Lawrence.
Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Is this the old dozer or the newer dozer?
Well, we got to be careful with those terms. They're both fairly
Exactly.
old. This is the newest of the dozers. It's a 78 model. We're somewhat fortunate, and I think the repair itself, the parts were not terribly troublesome, but there's a considerable amount of labor involved in tear down and rebuild on these. But now it's back up and running, and we thought that it was best to go ahead and get it functional before we decide in the future whether we want to do trade-ins or look at replacing that dozer. But in either case, it needed to be functioning to have any real value.
Right. When are we gonna move forward with this decision on getting rid of these two pieces of junk and getting something we can depend on?
Some of the discussion, Mr. Young, right now we're talking about is potentially going to one dozer, and then when we need the others to possibly lease them, lease one on short term, rent one on short term for when we need the additional dozer. I think that's still something that I'll try to look at. I'm hoping to have some sort of plan for at least options on new equipment purchases. We've got dump truck needs. We've got several equipment needs here, and talking with the guys down there to prioritize what they think they need first. But I'll hopefully have something in the short term with it.
Thank you.
And we're trying to log hours of usage as well so that we can make a educated determination on the need. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 14 is to approve the purchase of the infield groomer from ABI Attachments at a cost of $26,008.07. It's the sole source provider for this product. We have a
So
motion-
moved, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second by Cummings.
second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we need to make part of the record the 2020 Warren County Regional Jail year-end summary. If, I guess we ought to, since this does include some financial information, we'd like to get a motion to approve this, to Put it on the record.
So move, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Gorman. No, excuse me, Squire Lawrence. You're hiding back there in the dark, Squire Lawrence.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I set up a little, I'm way down in this couch.
Jealous.
Okay, there are no other questions about this. Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
This is why.
item number 16 is to grant authority to advertise for road salt for the Warren County Road Department.
Motion by Squire Payne.
Motion by Squire Payne,
Second, Gorman.
second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Need to approve budget transfers for Warren County.
So move, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter. Second.
Second by Squire Lawrence.
Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve service agreement with IRE Crown Rinks LLC for rental of the ice rink for the Warren County 6,000 square foot, 175 skater capacity rink for this holiday season. This includes the equipment, turnkey installation, removal, and support services for a 60 by 100 foot rink.
So move, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second by Squire Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions?
Just happy this will be back.
Now, that was McWhorter and Lawrence that made the motion and seconded it. The county attorney was asking me, I guess Josh, do we have a clause in there if a COVID clause or anything in case things get worse, or should we just be positive and move forward? And
I think we should just be positive. I'll double check, but there was some early discussion about that. Obviously, there would be some costs we would not incur, like their labor time to be down here, but we would be out some of that because we've essentially reserved that rink. But
Yeah.
I'll follow up and double check. I know we got some additional language in there about if we were to want to keep this another week or two based on, participation. There've been a lot of talks about should we stay open a little bit longer. So we negotiated on some extension prices. I'll follow up with Nikki. And we can make that ask if we need to.
I would just ask about it. I agree with you. I think that we've got to be positive that this is going to go away. And we made a difficult decision last year that I don't regret that we didn't do it last year, because I think it would have just been a super spreader if people had packed into that ice rink like they usually do. So, but surely by November, we're going to have the biggest part of this behind us. Anyway, we do have We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. Ms. Hale?
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yep.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne, Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 19 is approve the lowest bid for the street sweeper in the amount of $89,246 to Victory Sweepers. The two bids received. This is the lowest and best bid, and it's paid for through the stormwater management, not through the general fund.
Motion by
Count.
Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings. Second.
Second, Squire Young.
Second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Josh, this is pretty much, we've had probably 100 miles of new subdivision streets taken in, many of which are curb and gutter. I assume this is what this primary.
Yes, sir. We Stormwater purchased a surplus street sweeper from the city a number of years ago, and we knew that it had some mechanical issues. We made the repairs. We made a few years of work on it, but we found that the price to continue to repair this sweeper was becoming more than the value of the sweeper. It's also a very, very large sweeper, and we found that we could find a smaller version that would still be a little more maneuverable in these subdivision streets. And also, we had the ability now to sweep the parking structure and some of our other county lots a lot easier, Justice Center lots if needed. So we thought this might be the best use of the street sweeping program to find something that was a little easier to handle. We reached out to some local folks here who do street sweeping. We brought some vendors in to demo their product. This is something that our staff can use, James and his staff can use. It's definitely more manageable. So we think we can get the most use out of this compared to what we had in the past.
All right. Thank you. We've already taken roll call on that, haven't we? Okay, so we go to approve emergency determination in the amount of $2,154.05 to Wright Implement for the replacement of a Toro Sand Pro engine for Buchanan Park. This unit is, according to Mr. Comer, is a critical piece of equipment that we need out there. So do I have a motion to approve?
Motion by Squire Lawrence.
Motion by Squire Lawrence.
Second, by Squire Payne.
Second by Squire Payne. Mr. Comer, any comments or anything to anyone about?
No, the Sand Pros are our primary pieces of equipment that we use to get our 38 ball fields prepared. And right now we have a fleet of 9 of those units. They're all exceeding about 3,000 to 4,000 operational hours. So we're starting to have issues with them, considerable engine problems. We appreciate your all support in regards to this, and over the coming years, we're going to be working on phasing out those pieces of equipment and updating the equipment with new pieces as funding allows. So we appreciate your support. It makes our jobs a lot easier. We can get 8 ball fields done in about a quarter of the time, and it goes from a 4 or 5 person job to a 1 machine, 1 person job. So it's a lot more efficient.
Okay. Thank you very much. No questions? Sale?
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 21 is to accept the lowest and best bid from Eva Parr. I guess that's the way you say that. for the generator maintenance inspection and service contract for 25 generators at 23 facilities at a cost of $26,000. This is, they're new to, I think Young's did it last year, but Eva Parr is a very reputable quality company, and this has been reviewed by the fire chiefs and the emergency management and so forth, and this is the one that they recommend. And it is the lowest and best bidder.
Stoneman McWhorter.
Squire McWhorter, second.
Second, Gorman.
Second, Squire Gorman. Okay. Any questions?
Just a one-year contract?
Squire Cummings, this is a 2-year contract. It's $13,000 each year.
Thanks.
All right, good question. Any other discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, item number 22, approve termination of the amount of $9,507 to Wright Implement for a 61-foot stand on, 60-inch, should have been inch. Thank you, Ms. Hale. To Wright Implement for a 61-inch stand-on John Deere mower for Warren County Parks. This source well pricing contract. Have a motion to approve.
Motion by Gorman.
Motion by Squire Gorman.
Second by Lawrence.
Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions?
It would speed up the mowing, though, if we could get a 61-foot.
Well, I was thinking that would be a hell of a,
Be hard to get it delivered.
We're gonna have to get a semi-truck or two, Judge, to get that one around.
I don't know. Have you ever seen any of Joe Neal Balance's equipment out there? I think
Big time equipment.
he may have a 61-foot one. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next item is, item number 23 is to approve the new chain of command structure for the Warren County Parks and Recreation Department. We have a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Motion by Squire Young.
Second
Second.
by Cummings.
Second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 24 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2114, establishing Cedar Trail Avenue, McIntyre Street, and Sheldrake Lane, located in McClellan Crossing subdivision as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings. Second.
Second by Squire Payne.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire
Josh
Cummings.
had a question first. I'm sorry, Josh. These roads, I'm sure we're ready, but this new construction behind this, is this going to affect any more burden on us that we accept these roads in with all that other possible traffic going in and out that your subdivision and that tax and school district?
So this particular phase, of course, is the extension of McClellan Farms. The next phase that they are going to start will be on the Moorhead Road end, and they're going to work their way back into the middle. We're working on, actually, we just had a pre-construction conference to start that phase, but we've had them beef up the paving section in what I'll call the thoroughfare through the subdivision to try to help with that. But yes, to be quite honest, this subdivision is going to see a large number of vehicles coming from Greystone, a city subdivision and the like. It's kind of what happens as we infill. But we're doing all we can to try to be sure that we've protected what will become our streets the best as possible.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Notice,
Esquire,
no, go ahead.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Lynette wants to know if you're gonna surplus the voting machines. I know we were gonna surplus and then destroy, but you have to surplus them. She said
Yeah.
it's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda?
I
Okay.
think so.
All right. One thing that did not make it to the agenda that I want to, well, one of two things, but the first thing I want to add right now is to get authority for the, I thought, is it on there, Brenda, the surplus, the old voting machines?
No, sir, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay. All right. We need to surplus the old voting machines as the new voting machines arrive. And HARP has agreed to take in the old voting machines, destroy them, scrap them and destroy them appropriately. Ms. Yates did not feel that it was good to allow old voting machines to just kind of go out into the public domain, and I agree with her. And I'd like authority today to the county judge and the county clerk to surplus the property for the county and allow HARP to appropriately scrap
Motion
them
by
into
Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second by
Second. Order.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter, Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Judge,
Thank you, Lynette. I appreciate you being on there. Yes, ma'am.
just so we can stay in line with our orders, could that be order number 2105?
You can,
We're gonna-
yes,
since it's
let's
our
make
surplus.
that order number 2105.
Judge, I'm disappointed. I actually think that'd be neat for my household. When there's ever a discussion, we could all just step up to a voting machine and cast our vote.
Yeah,
You know,
but we don't have enough imagination to figure out how else someone might use one.
Agreed, agreed.
Okay, we've completed that. Item number 25 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2115 establishing Windstar Avenue, Windstar Court, Windsor Court, Derby Hill Court, and Pinnaroll Lane located in Windsor Trace Farm subdivision as county roads and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second, Gorman.
second by Squire Gorman. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Item number 27 is to approve the lodging of record, the bond set for the property valuation administrator, the new property valuation administrator, which, as all of you may know, is Susan Oliver Lewis. She was appointed by the governor on the 15th, and we'll be swearing her in, formal swearing in at the end of this meeting. So just don't want anyone to hang up that would like to see our new PVA sworn in. She's been working for Bob for some time, and I think there were many people who recommended her to the governor and to Frankfurt, and we're very proud to have her as our new PVA, and are convinced that she will do a great job, just like Mr. Brandstetter did. Anyway, we need to approve this. We have a motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence.
Second,
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire McWhorter. Any further discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Did
Item
we
number-
approve?
We
What?
skipped 26.
Yeah. Judge?
Pardon me? 26?
Yes.
Approve first reading of ordinance 2116, establishing Old Gap Street, Old Gap Court, Center Point Avenue, and Heritage Preserve Lane, located in the Heritage subdivision as county roads, and authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon. Motion by
Motion by Cummings.
Squire Cummings,
Yes, sir.
second.
Second by Squire Payne.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions?
Judge, Squire Cummings brought up a good point previously about taking these subdivisions or the streets into county road system when there's still building construction going on, either around or adjoining subdivisions. I know I have had a problem recently with two subdivisions. They used the back entrance or created a back entrance to one that was already in our system to run their dump trucks and heavy equipment stuff through it, and basically destroyed part of that street. So Josh, just keep these things in mind. I know you do, but just a reminder, that cost us money. Instead of them using their streets that they have to maintain until they get finished, they like to use somebody else's so that we can pay for it. So
Yeah, Squire, the challenge that we run into, and I know you all are aware of this, but is that the way, the growth, quickness of how we grow here, most of the time we potentially have people moving in houses almost as soon as we take the streets. And sometimes these subdivisions, we've got people living and paying taxes in lots, and then if we don't accept the streets, we can't plow the streets and we can't replace the stop signs in the streets. So it's been a balancing act on how to address those. You are right, though. We've unfortunately damaged some existing projects. I know that the Planning Commission's engineer and construction manager now, he is doing way better than I ever did in the past of forcing these developers and their contractors to go back in and fix some of these things.
Bids on those
And we've worked on a bonding strategy to try to hold some money in that process to get them repaired. But it's definitely been a problem in the past, but we've addressed it or are trying to address it. And hopefully we're getting better at it.
thank you, sir.
This is my copy, so you give it back.
All right, thank you. Okay. Do we need to call the roll on this?
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter, Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I guess the next one's 28, right? We need to
Yeah.
approve, pardon me?
Yes, yes.
We need to approve the termination of the amount of $5,400.07 to ABI Attachments for an ABI infield groomer. This is to be used as a backup for 2 Toro Sand Pros, sole source provider for this product.
So move, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second. Squire
Second,
Lawrence. Gorman. Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 29 is to approve change order to Scott Murphy and Daniel for water line relocation, louver changes, and forklift charging station installed for the new tennis and multipurpose building at the amount of $10,982.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second by Squire Payne.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 30 is to approve the 21-22 budget for the Warren County Regional Jail.
So move, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second, Squire Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please
Well, I
call.
figured.
Go ahead.
Steve and I had a long conversation tonight. Thank you for the time you gave me, Steve. But obviously, it's something that we have to fund this project, and COVID has definitely stretched your budget to things. So I don't know if anybody else wants to hear what you have to say, but I know I'm very satisfied with what we talked about tonight.
Yeah, his budget is considerably up, but
You want me to give you an explanation, a quick explanation of what the difference is from the 19 versus?
that'd be great. Appreciate it.
Even though our workload sometimes doubled and tripled over the last year, and we had one of our most challenging years in any correctional facility, probably in decades, our revenue is extremely down. And so instead of asking for a little over 300,000, which is what the last budget, the one we're operating in now, was, and would have been similar to that in this request, the state inmate dollars are extremely down. There weren't courts running, trials were canceled and postponed for months on end. Federal inmates, which is where the lion's share of our revenue comes from that we're able to generate ourselves, was down. No inmates were being moved for a period of months. Some of that has been lifted, and we're getting more federal inmates now, and hopefully if trials continue to go, I guess in May is when they're supposed to go now, if it doesn't get extended again, we'll be back on track. Again, these are projections. As I said in my letter, I'm hopeful that we won't need this kind of assistance, but I have to plan off of what we have to look at for the last year. And COVID was not only physically difficult for us, and medically extremely difficult for us, our staff, the inmate population, but also it affected us financially. And I would expect that some of the other departments, as they file their budgets for July 1, will also look different than years past. But it's not because we've done anything different. We've not had extreme spending. The cost of protective equipment has gone way up for us. But the lack of inmate movement over the last many months, most of 2020, has drastically affected our ability to make our own revenue. And so of the 8.8 million, we're projecting based on last year that 1.2 of that we're going to have help with. Again, I'm very hopeful that it's not going to be that drastic. It definitely won't be like it was in the current budget, but we're doing everything we can here. Kudos to Tracy and her staff who have worked tirelessly to find every dollar that we can, and we're still making improvements in our operation based on dollars that we get through contract negotiations and things that keep us from asking for dollars from the court. And so not a budget I'm extremely proud of or looking forward to, but this is the realistic part of the impact that COVID-19 had on our operation and our ability to make our own revenue. Again, would love to have more federal inmates, but also, as we've talked before, Judge, about the number of beds, we're at 669 as of this morning at 6:30 when we did prep for the 7 o'clock shift change. We have 562 beds, so I mean, we're still overpopulated, but we're still seeing the effects of the last year. And so, not what I wanted to present to you this month, but unfortunately the effects of COVID-19 are still real for us. Things are looking better in the last couple of months or so than they did last year, but this is the reality that we face at this point. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. Any questions for Jailer Harmon? Yeah, it very well could be that, and hopefully this was a one-time operating budget, but I understand because literally everything got changed on us this year. We really couldn't do anything about them letting all the state inmates out of everywhere for whatever reason, and the federal inmates revenue was down because they weren't moving them up here. So I understand that. And do we have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
And a second.
Yes.
Any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, Judge, one last comment I want to put out here in the public record. It's time for us to do something with state legislators to create a situation where the city of Bowling Green helps participate in the funding of our jail operation. You know, they take about 85% of our intake is from city police officers, and the way I know the statutes are written, that the counties are responsible for providing this, but it's time to have, you know, what do we need to do on a local level to go to state leaders to see if we can get the city of Bowling Green to come help with us in the funding of this jail, because they put 85% of the people that's in there come from them.
I understand, and I don't disagree with you at all. This initiative has been put before the legislature a number of times, and I don't think they're acting on it this year either. We've also tried to get them to accept the state inmates from the time of arrest rather than after the conviction and sentencing, which sometimes we have them for a year and then they get sentenced to a year, time already served. So we get no revenue from them, and we've kept them the entire time that they were state prisoners. And we've taken that up through our lobbyists and CAECO and county judges and magistrates and commissioners a number of times, and still that hasn't been fixed either. And I'm not sure they will. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a very unfair situation, but Constitution. No one wants to take any action. They don't want to be. Anyway. All right, we've got. Next item is to approve a determination in the amount of $7,667.13 to Barron County Business Supply for office furniture for Public Works at the state price contract.
You need to go back and vote on the jail budget first.
Oh, Well, I thought we'd already voted on that, but let's go ahead and do that, Ms. Hale.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Cause discussion out.
Esquire Lawrence,
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne, Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Motion passes now. Need to approve the termination in the amount of $7,667.13 to Barron County Business Supply for office furniture for Public Works estate price contract. Do I have a motion to approve?
Gorman.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by
Second
Squire
by
Lawrence.
Squire Lawrence.
Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 32 is to approve Order 2104 surplusing Dell Latitudes E6500 computer for the Warren County Attorney's Office. Motion to approve.
Motion by
So moved,
Squire
Squire Young.
Lawrence.
I'm not real sure. I think that's Squire Lawrence and second by Squire Young.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Further discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 33 is to approve the fiscal court meeting change for Friday, April 23rd, 2021 to Monday, April 26th, 2021 at 9 a.m.
So moved.
So moved
Second,
by
Gorman.
McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. Further discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we need to, will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General fund, $735,542. Road fund, $86,311. Jail fund, $396,340. Stormwater fund, $96,943. E911 fund, $5,763. And Fed forfeiture fund, $435. You have to answer any questions.
Make a
Okay.
motion, we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young to pay claims as submitted. Second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and now we have an additional add-on that I think all of you all received the copies of, but it didn't make the agenda, and it's to approve the purchase of carpet in the, it's in the, not in the lobby, but in the annex. I think you all have pictures and so forth, the worn carpet in the administrative areas, and in the green room at the Justice Center, and approve that to the lowest bidder, who is make sure I'm calling out the right one. Okay, it looks like the lowest bidder is Carpet Place of Bowling Green at $17,921.
So moved, Gorman.
Motion by Squire Gorman.
Second by Squire Payne.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm just going to call everyone's names. If you don't have any report, we're going to kind of, we've got people here for the swearing-in ceremony, which I want to include in the meeting. But I don't want any of you all who want to leave the meeting before that to have to stay through. But I'd like to ask, first of all, Sheriff Hightower, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Judge, the only thing I'd like to report is if you make national news, it's always best to make it in a positive light. And we had one of our school resource officers, Deputy Chris Shelton, he had purchased Chick-fil-A for all of the students at Lighthouse Academy. So
That's cool.
WNKY did a story on it, and then the national news picked up and did an article on it as well. So
Wow. That's
really
cool.
highlight the great work that our SROs do every day in this one particular situation, which Deputy Shelton did for the students over there, and just having high expectations of customer service and treating people right.
Well,
I saw that. That was great.
Yeah, that was very kind of him, and it showed them that he cares.
Yeah, too many times that they show a negative aspect, and every day I can tell you that our deputies and school resource officers are doing the right thing and treating people fairly and kindly. And this is just one of many examples I could provide.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and please congratulate him and thank him for his service every day, but certainly for doing things that make us all proud.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Ms. Yates?
Good morning, Judge. Thank you all for taking care of the voter equipment. They're coming next Thursday to pick all that stuff up. So then they're coming next month to unpack all of our new equipment that's sitting out there. And so we're moving along with elections for next year.
All right. Thank you so much, Lynette.
Thank you.
Jailer Harmon?
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Comer?
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Moore?
Real quick, Judge, just want to remind everybody that our spring household hazardous waste event is taking place right now. That we changed this for a 3-day event. So today, from 8 to 1, you can stop by the Salt Barn on Lauren Avery and get rid of paint, batteries, and electronics. And then tomorrow, from 8 to 1, same location will be the standard. We take everything, hazardous waste, paint, electronics, batteries, paper shredding. That's all taking place tomorrow.
Cool. Good deal. Everybody got that? 8 to 1 today and tomorrow.
And just one more thing on that, I want to thank, honestly, our road department. We had an issue where we lost some volunteers, and so for the last 2 days, we've sent some guys from there to help because we just did not have anybody else that could get out there and assist with us due to lack of staffing and miscommunication and COVID protocols. So we wouldn't be able to do that without those guys.
Thank you so much. Mr. Pearson?
Thank you, Judge. Really quickly, I wanted to note that the governor's announced effective Monday, 8150 and up are eligible to get their COVID vaccine. And shout out to the medical center. They have done over 50,000 vaccinations. All of our health partners that's helped make this come to fruition. Just wanted to say thanks and let everybody know that the phases are opening up faster every day.
Yeah, 50 and up, is that what you just said?
That's correct, sir.
That pretty much covers all you guys. All right.
Of course, you got in on the first wave.
You have to be that way, Judge.
I knew somebody was going to bring that up. All righty. Mr. Loving? Ms. Lewis, I don't think is going to be on this report. Is anyone from the PVA office up here? Okay. Mr. Appling?
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Peterson?
I'll just mention real quick, since we talked about subdivisions in 2020 last year, despite COVID, we approved 894 new single-family lots for Warren County. So those are just now starting construction. So we'll continue to have our challenges with growth, which is a good thing. But so that's still going, and we're still looking at setting records, and this year's starting out just as fast. So that's all I have.
That's great.
How long you letting that thing grow on your face?
Hadn't had time to shave.
I don't want to take up too much time, but first I thought, well, I'd start and grow it during COVID, and then I thought, well, I'll wait till the new zoning regs are approved by everybody, and then the small cities joint agreement thing approved by everybody. So I don't know, it may hopefully it'll be gone before too long, and all those things will be done. So.
All righty. Mr. Markham.
Thank you, Judge and Court. Appreciate it.
Thank you, James. Miss Milliken is AWOL. Okay. Mr. Burrell.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Hale. Deputy Judge Smith.
Thank you, Judge.
I think Ms. Hale and Ms. Milliken must be meeting. Okay. All righty. Squire Gorman, you have anything?
Judge, very quickly, just a personal note, just a shout out to the Lady Eagles soccer team. I'm coaching both my granddaughters on it. And Brittany's little baby, Emery, had her first game Saturday. She scored 2 goals for us, 1 goal for the other team, so that was fantastic. But also, congratulations to Susan Lewis, our new PVA. That's quite an accomplishment. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations to Emery. Not everybody gets to score for both teams. All right. Squire Lawrence.
Yeah, Judge, just congratulations to Ms. Lewis. Also, one more thing, we just did the Women of Achievement Awards and the Athena Award this week, and there were 17 remarkable ladies were recognized, and Penny Bowles, she won the Athena Award, and I just wanted to put that on the record.
All right, thank you. Congratulations to them. Squire Payne.
Judge, I'd just like to say congratulations to Susan. She'll do us a good job.
I believe she will. I truly believe she will. Squire McWhorter.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And Squire Young.
Thank you, Judge. I just wanted to thank Doug for that great prayer this morning. That was a good job. Good job. And to Miss Lewis and her appointment, I know she's going to do a good job.
I believe she will too. Squire Cummings.
Congrats to Susan for her appointments, and proud of working with her going forward. The only thing else I would like to do, at some point, we need to have some serious conversation about jail, a new jail, or addition to our jail. I know it's working on stuff, but it's time for us to. We got to do something with our jail system to try to get us, better accommodations and allow us to Jailer Harmon to continue his great job. But thank you for everybody. Thank you for staying persistent with COVID, and hopefully we'll be meeting in person soon.
Hopefully, at this moment, we are scheduling the April 12th meeting by Zoom, but we may do it by Zoom and in person so that you have the alternative to do one or the other. Right now, though, let's go ahead and just assume that the 12th is going to be by Zoom. I'm staying in close contact with the health department and CDC each day. And whereas all of us have been vaccinated, we still have some people in the courthouse who have not. And we have some people here. I don't know the ones that are coming in for the for this particular swearing-in ceremony have all been vaccinated or not, but we're asking them to wear their mask if they have not been. And we're not going to close the meeting yet. We'll come back and close the meeting in a few minutes, but at this moment, I'd like to ask Susan Oliver Lewis's family and Miss Lewis to come in for the swearing-in ceremony.
How you doing, Bob?
Would you mind doing something for me? You'll stand right here. Right here. Mom, stand right here. If you don't mind, if you'll hold this up for your mom to put her hand on. It's kind of heavy, but just hold it up. Hold it up in just a minute.
This is going to be very awkward. We're going to do a swearing-in ceremony on Zoom.
What's
So let's just see how this goes.
Oliver Lewis. Samuel Oliver Lewis.
Samuel Oliver Lewis.
Well, I hope they at least put a camera on it.
Like that.
This is why Nikki didn't show up today, correct?
I miss her, don't y'all?
Yes, I do miss her.
Okay, I will sure do. And they can get the money from me.
That's a devoted friend.
That's right.
Mom. Oh, God. All righty. I don't know if everyone here understands what we're here for, but we're here to celebrate Sam's birthday.
Marie? Okay, thank you.
And as part of Sam's birthday, we're going to let him hold the Bible up for his mom. We received the order from Governor. Oh, hello, Mr. Brandstetter. Glad to have you here. We received an order from the governor on the 15th, making the appointment of Susan Oliver Roberts. Lewis. Susan Oliver Lewis. I just got through reading of Susan Roberts here. Susan Oliver Lewis as the new PVA for Warren County. All of you all know that Bob Brandstetter is a tough act to follow. He's done an outstanding job since he's been here. I've talked him out of retiring last year, but I couldn't talk him out of it this year, but he assures me that Susan Oliver Lewis, who has worked in his office, will do a far better job than he ever did.
I don't know about that.
But now I'd like to ask Sam to hold the Bible up for his mom. Are you ready to, would you like to make any comments before or after?
We can just do after.
Okay, all right. I'd like to ask for you to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully execute,
and that I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my
to
ability,
the best of my ability,
the office of Property Valuation Administrator of Warren County,
the office of Property Valuation Administrator of Warren County,
according to law.
according to law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
and since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of this state,
I, being a citizen of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state
Within
nor
this-
out of it,
within this state or out of it,
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge,
nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge,
nor aided or assisted any person thus offending.
nor aided or assisted a person thus offending,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you and congratulations,
Thank
Susan.
you.
Good job, Tom. You're the man. Happy birthday. Just wanted to explain to y'all, this reference to the fighting duels actually has a history behind it. And at one time before the last Constitution, it was a real problem for people challenging people to duels and shooting each other right out in the open. Even though it was illegal, but you were thought to have to accept a duel or you were a coward. But the worst offenders were elected officials. Because I guess they felt like they had to defend their honor or whatever. But so they made it part of the Constitution, and this is a unique part of the constitutional oath for all public offices in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And I know that Susan Oliver Lewis
There you go.
will very much take all of these words into consideration. She won't be fighting any duels the entire time that she's in office.
Nope.
And I'd like to offer you the opportunity to say hello to your family and friends.
Well, I just wanted to thank everyone for being here today and supporting me through this. It's really meant a lot to me. Coming here 4 years ago, life has totally changed, and thank you all for being with me every step of the way. Thank you.
Bob, do you have any stuff you want to tell on her?
No.
Thank you.
I've got all the face, she'll do a good job. The time her tenure's up, then when anybody even remember it.
I don't think that could be. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
All righty. Thank you all so much for being here. This has been made part of our meeting, fiscal court meeting. So you're still on Facebook at home, and the magistrates are all on here watching this and witnessing Ms. Lewis being sworn in. And congratulations, we're very proud of her.
Thank you so much.
Very proud of the job that you've done for the last 4 years, and we're very proud. I'm very proud and honored to be swearing you in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Sam?
Thanks.
Happy birthday again, buddy.
Yeah. The first female PVA in Warren County. I was just helping you out. I know. I know.
Okay.
Yep.
It should be noted that Susan Oliver Lewis is now officially the first PVA, first Property Valuation Administrator in Warren County, and there aren't that many throughout the county, throughout the state. But she is absolutely the first one to be sworn in on Sam's birthday.
That's true. Yeah. All right.
Happy birthday.
You did great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand.
All right, guys, I'll go on and end the meeting.
There you go. Thank you.
See ya.
They'll talk for 10 more minutes out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.